Canada has expelled India's High Commissioner and other diplomats, linking them to the murder of a Sikh activist on Canadian soil last year. India has also ordered the expulsion of six high-ranking Canadian diplomats from its territory. The diplomatic row comes after Ottawa accused the Indian diplomats of being involved in the killing of a Sikh separatist leader and targeting his supporters in Canada. Delhi rejects the allegation as preposterous. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Ottawa's intelligence agencies had collected irrefutable evidence that could not be ignored and that he was forced to take action.
It is necessary to disrupt the criminal activities that continue to pose a threat to public safety in Canada. That is why we acted, because we will always, first and foremost, stand for the rights of Canadians to feel safe and secure in their own country. We will never tolerate the involvement of a foreign government threatening and killing Canadian citizens on Canadian soil.
Earlier, DW's Delhi Bureau Chief Sandra Petasman explained how India has responded to these allegations.
Of course, this story makes huge headlines in India, and the reaction is by the preferred mode of India's government. So we haven't seen any presser yet, but yesterday India's Ministry of External Affairs issued 3 written statements, all of them back to back with a little bit of space in between. And let me focus on the first one, the longest one, because I want to give you an indication of the kind of language that was implied. You see me here with notes because the next couple of sentences will all be direct quotes from this very first statement.
All right.
The government of Canada has not shared a shred of evidence with the government of India. Then it also says Prime Minister Trudeau's hostility to India has long been in evidence. And last but not least, this line, after accusing Trudeau of a, quote, anti-India separatist agenda, the Trudeau government has consciously provided space to violent extremists and terrorists to harass, threaten, and intimidate Indian diplomats. Now, all of this compared to other statements by the Ministry of External Affairs here in India is crystal clear in its language. It's very harsh. There is no diplomatic sugarcoating whatsoever. And this is potentially indicating how severe the situation is. We have reached sub-zero temperatures in Indo-Canadian relations. And also let me point to the second statement, because that is in stark contrast to Canada saying that they expelled 6 Indian diplomats. India actually says that they withdrew Indian diplomats from Canada because the Canadian government could not guarantee for their safety. That, of course, is another tit for tat in this diplomatic row, Nicole.
Sandra, how did we get to this point?
Yeah, we should probably first focus on the person that is at the very beginning of this diplomatic row. It's Hardeep Singh Nijjar, a Sikh activist, a Sikh separatist who was advocating for an independent Sikh homeland in the northern parts of India. He did so from Canadian soil. Now, for India's government, for the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but also consecutive Indian governments before that, Sikh separatists are essentially seen as a threat to national security, as extremists, as terrorists, and this has been conveyed to Canada time and again. So by implicating the Indian government, its representative in form of senior Indian diplomats, in his killing on Canadian soil in the summer of last year, that is actually implicating the Indian government in a homicide committed on Canadian soil, and that is very serious allegations.
That was DW's Delhi Bureau Chief Sandra Petasman. Thank you so much, Sandra, for all of that.